Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is my new channel for landscape design. If you're interested in anything to do with landscape design, plants, everything to do with horticulture and gardening, then this is a channel for you, and hopefully we can bring some really good content and helpful content for people. Today, one of my series that I want to do is on low maintenance plants, and we're going to do maybe one plant a week that I think is a really good plant to choose for your garden for low maintenance. And to start off this video, this is what we're going to do in today's video, is look at one plant in particular called Lomandra Tanika, and I use this extensively in my landscape designs, and I use it because it's such a versatile plant that can go in any situation, from very poor soil to really, obviously good soil, but also in sort of a little bit dappled to shady conditions, to full sun and hot and dry, wet and cold. It covers all the bases. Another good thing about it is it doesn't need much pruning, which makes it obviously a good choice for low maintenance, and it also doesn't get pests and diseases. And lastly, it doesn't seed itself, so it doesn't propagate itself around the garden. So a lot of other plants that are kind of good and hardy will end up seeding themselves around the garden, and you'll have them all popping up, and that's all extra maintenance that you don't want to do. So this plant is an infertile plant, so it sort of doesn't spread its seeds around the garden, so it's very useful, and that's why it's been used extensively in landscape jobs. So without further ado, let's go and have a look at this plant. I have it in my garden. We can go and have a look at it now. So here we are, just behind me we've got this is the Tanika version of Lomandra, and it's got some little sort of smaller spiky spiky seeds. They can be a little bit sort of spiky to touch, but nothing really bad. But yes, it's just basically a grass if you look at it, but from a distance it can look quite nice. So let's have we'll take a few other shots with it from a distance. Let's have a look. So here it is, guys. It's just looking pretty nice, and it grows roughly around about, you can see it's about 1 meter wide by about sort of 80 to 90 centimeters wide, so it can get quite a decent size. And that's probably one of the things I'd say, just make sure that you allow enough space for it in your garden. Here I've just used it as a single specimen, but we're going to go and have a look at how other people use it, and quite often people will put it into big plantings. So one of the things we've got to, when we're picking a plant for landscape design, obviously when we go into the nursery, there's a lot of plants that we're hit with. All these flowering ones are very tempting to buy. So heading off to like a low maintenance section where you see these grasses is not sort of intuitive, but here we go. This is the availability of Lomandra here, with lots of other grass type of plants. We're at Mitre 10, and they are here. So here we've got all the different varieties of, or quite a few of them anyway, of Lomandra. We've got Lime Tough, which is a much smaller version. That's about a 40 centimeter version. And right here we've got the Tanika. So we've got a price of about $12.95. Most of these are about $13 to $15. Yeah, obviously Tanikas, it gets bigger, as we've discussed. Lime Tough is another one I recommend, is also for a smaller plant where you don't want it to get too big. And then coming down here we've got slightly different ones. There's one here that's Shara, that's about roughly the same size as Tanika. Little Lime obviously is going to be the same sort of thing. And then we've got this White Sands one, which is a variegated variety. That's a fairly new one. Actually, all these Lomandras, 10 years ago, you couldn't get them in New Zealand. They were pretty much sort of unavailable. And so they've just sort of recently sort of come on to, well, 10 years, I suppose, they're not too recent. But yeah, so they're available now, and I believe available in America, England, Spain, and a few other places. So yep, availability here is very good. Okay, so the next part we're going to have a look at is just how do we use these lamandras. And here you can see in this part, this is a commercial planting, and it's just clumping them all together in one big effective mass planting, and they look really, really nice. You can see how they, as a group, they look awesome. And then other plants that they sometimes are used with is this is a native little flax. This is probably a dwarf form of cookianum, probably emerald gem or something like that. And you can see that looks really, really good. And of course, it's so dense that there's no weeds popping up. Only where you see the soil space, you get the odd little weed come up, but there's no weeds going to pop up on that. So it's going to give you a nice low maintenance planting. So how is it used? The use of Lomandra in landscapes. We can see here that they've used it as a sort of quite a big planting with the pittosporum there, and this one here is varieties grandiflora, and then we've got a whole heap of these all over, just sort of growing up here, which is quite cool, quite nice. Just a mixed native border. And here it's been used just as a single row of plants just by the house, and that can look quite effective too, keeping all the weeds down. And obviously those parts under the house are pretty hard to grow sometimes, not much moisture, sometimes not much light. And you can see that's one way of using it. Okay guys, this is the last use of Lomandra. It's a big group planting for an entranceway. They've used cabbage trees, a native cabbage tree called Line australis on both sides, 4 cabbage trees, and then underplanted with the Lomandra Tanika. And very, very effective. It's a bit of a noisy road, this one, but very effective entranceway. And then further down the driveway we've got Lomandras used for an underplanting under a tree. Okay guys, that's going to wrap this video up on Lomandra Tanika. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please press up the thumbs button and wait for more videos. Our next video is going to be on flowering plant of the week, which is up next. If these were a bit boring for you, they didn't do enough, then you'll enjoy the flowering plant of the week. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys later.